So you've just started cycling. That's absolutely wonderful. I can imagine that right now you're getting out and about on your bike, enjoying the fresh air and feeling good that you're getting some exercise. If you stick with cycling for any length of time though, it won't be long before you start looking for a bit of a challenge. And one of the challenges that many new cyclists want to do is to be able to ride a 50-kilometre bike ride. Firstly, what the fudge is 50 kilometres, and secondly, why the heck do they use the metric system to measure it? Well, to answer the first question, 50 kilometres is exactly 31.07 miles. And while that may sound like a lot right now, believe me, anyone can ride that with the correct training. And secondly, it uses the metric system because if you go back, say 10-15 years ago, cycling as a sport was far more popular in countries that use the metric system. And then when it came to places like the UK and the US that use the imperial system, it kind of brought the metric system with it. Now, if you're happy just going out, riding your bike, enjoying the fresh air and getting a bit of gentle exercise, there are no hard and fast rules that say you absolutely have to ride 50 kilometres. It's entirely up to you. However, if you do want to be able to ride 50 kilometres, I would suggest by starting off by trying to establish what I would call your benchmark ride. Now this involves going out and riding your bike at a pace that you feel fairly comfortable with, and you want to be able to ride a distance that's just going to take you beyond your comfort zone. So you don't want it to be so far that you feel absolutely tired, but you don't want it to be so short that you feel perfectly fine afterwards. Now this is going to vary from person to person, as we all have very different levels of fitness. For some people it might be 5 kilometres, and for others it might be 20, 25 or even 30 kilometres. Put very simply, being able to ride longer distances on the bike is mainly about your cycling endurance, which in turn all boils down to your cardiovascular fitness. Your cardiovascular fitness is developed when you ride your bike between 65 and 80% of your maximum heart rate. And obviously having a heart rate sensor and a cycling computer can help you monitor this. In real terms, what you need to do is ride your bike in lower gears at higher cadences for an extended period of time, and very soon you'll be able to ride those longer distances. Having ridden your benchmark ride, what you need to do next is sit down and work out how much further you need to ride to hit that magic 50 kilometre mark. So for instance, if your benchmark ride was say 20 kilometres, you obviously need to ride an additional 30 kilometres. So what I would suggest here is sitting down and trying to break that down into manageable chunks that you'll do over the next few weeks. How you do this is entirely up to you. You can extend it by a set percentage each week, so for example 10%, or you could say to yourself, well, I'm going to extend the ride each week by say 5 kilometres. Again, there are no right or wrong answers here. It depends very much on you and your current level of fitness. The key though is that the distance by which you extend your ride has to be manageable. You don't want it to be so tough that you can't do it. For your first training week, stick with the distance that you achieved on your benchmark ride, but do it at least twice, allowing a suitable amount of time in between each ride for your recovery. It can actually be very beneficial to keep some sort of ride diary while you're doing this. It doesn't have to be very complicated, even good old-fashioned pen and paper. So just write down things like date, time, distance, route and how you felt. It will help you look back in the future and see how you've improved. For your second training week, you need to add the extension that you decided upon earlier. Now this may sound a little daunting, but believe me, after a week or so of regular benchmark rides, it's not going to be quite as difficult as you first think. Again, I would suggest doing these rides 2 or even 3 times a week and allowing suitable time for your recovery in between. And then you just continue week on week, adding the extension until you reach the magic 50 kilometer mark. The more rides you do, the fitter you will get, and depending on how much free time you have, you may want to add a third or even a fourth ride to your weekly training schedule. As you extend your distances, you're not just working on your physical endurance, you're also working on breaking down your mental barriers, which is equally as important. Basically, as you achieve a new long distance, you can say to yourself that you know without doubt that you can do that distance, which makes it so much easier for the next time. Before long, you will be able to ride 50 kilometers, and you'll be flicking back through the pages of your ride diary, asking yourself why you found riding 25 kilometers so difficult a few weeks earlier. But it won't just stop there. You will ask yourself, how much quicker can I ride the next 50 kilometers? Or even, can I ride 100 kilometers? Or heavens forbid, 100 miles? The thing is, once you can ride 50 kilometers, you'll start to feel like you can do almost anything. Thanks for watching.